My name is Jake Gorman, and I'd like to be your Chief Justice for the next year. Before I get started with my actual speech, I'd like to recount an anecdote that was related to me by the Will Rice who recently graduated just a couple hours ago. She didn't graduate a couple hours ago, she graduated longer ago than that, but she told me the story a couple hours ago. And it's ultimately about a Will Rice presidential candidate from a few years back who hadn't cut his hair for a significant portion of time before the election speeches. And he came to the election speech with essentially all of his hair cut off and held all of his cut off hair in a bag while he gave his speech and said, essentially at the end of the speech, "And I cut off all my hair for you, Will Rice, because I would do anything." And it's a cheesy story and kind of weird, but I could relate to it because I hadn't cut my hair since Beer Biker last year, and I ultimately cut my hair just a couple weeks ago during Christmas break, not spring break. And what I'd like to say is that if I had thought of cutting my hair off just before the speech, I would have done it. Okay, so I'd like to get started with my actual speech. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a junior, I'm majoring in civil engineering, and I apparently like weird stories. It takes a very dedicated person to fill the role of Chief Justice, and so I'd like to start by telling you why I'm interested in the position. First, because I'm a rising senior, I can promise you that I'm not doing it for on-campus housing. But more importantly, and more seriously, I can promise you that I'm running for Chief Justice because I'd like to help maintain the positive culture that Will Rice has developed over the time that I've been here. Throughout my time here, Will Rice has had a very respectful culture that has managed to be highly inclusive of everyone in the college who wants to participate, whether that's respect to the party culture or just everyday activities. And supporting this culture is important to all of us, especially with respect to the new alcohol policy, which Will Rice has followed effectively and responsibly from what I've seen. Supporting this culture is important to me as well, and that's why I would like to run for Chief Justice so that I can help maintain this for all of us. Next, I'm running for Chief Justice because I genuinely feel that I'm qualified to fulfill the responsibilities of the position effectively. As the parliamentarian for Will Rice the past year, my job is largely centered on knowledge of the Constitution and its bylaws. Further, this year I've lived with our current Chief Justice, Alex Schmidt, and we've talked on quite a few occasions about what the position entails. I feel that my role and demeanor in the position would actually be quite similar to Alex's, a Chief Justice who's readily approachable and available to help settle any conflicts and in order for everyone to have the most positive possible experience while at Will Rice. My other roommate's name also sounds suspiciously similar to United States Chief Justice John G. Roberts. So I'm thinking room 403 has some sort of pedigree there. Anyway, from these experiences, I feel that I've learned a lot about the requirements of the Chief Justice position and how I can succeed there. An effective Chief Justice also needs to be frequently available and easily accessible. I plan to live on or near Long Haul next year and thus could be easily reached in the event of any problem. In addition to this, I intend to build a highly competent and diverse group of Associate Justices. Based on my experiences in engineering leadership courses, I would provide additional focus on building an effective team with my Associate Justices so that we can work with the maximum efficiency to resolve any problems. I have a great deal of respect for the college justice system. I have the enthusiasm and availability necessary to fulfill the position effectively, and I would be honored if you selected me as your Chief Justice for the next year. And who knows, if you vote for me, classes just might be canceled tomorrow. Thank you. Any questions?
I'll first thing in the morning.
You're rising senior. Do you think that plays a role in your grade?
I really don't. I know that there's the whole second semester senior syndrome that a lot of seniors have. But ultimately, because I switched my major to civil engineering late, I would still have a full slate of courses. So I can't really sort of drop off the face of the earth second semester senior year. So if I'm fulfilling all of my responsibilities, then why not fulfill CJ as well? Any other questions? Pat?
How will you deal with really drunk people?
I mean, ultimately, I feel that conflict resolution is one of my greatest strengths, and so I would be able to mediate any dispute with a very drunk person. Having been very drunk on some occasions, I'll be completely honest, I can empathize with that person. And I'll see things from their perspective. Okay? Any other questions? Thank you very much.